Hello, everybody. Hi. This is Adam, and this is your, I don't know what tutorial it is. Um, anyway, an interesting thing happened to me. I was on Facebook with nothing better to do, and, probably there's something better to do, but I wasn't doing it, and, I'm just, scrolling around, and I come across a post by this one person. Now, the thing you should know about this one person is he goes to MIT. Um, he's a junior at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Um, now, don't ask how I know him, because I don't really. Um, but here's the thing. The status he posted was, I just learned how to use a for loop. I'm never going back. And someone's like, oh my god. Oh man, no. You are a junior at MIT and you don't know how to use a for loop. Well, you didn't. You didn't know how to use a for loop. So, it got me to thinking, wow, I teach a lot of aspiring um, MIT geniuses, and I figure, you know what? If you're gonna go to MIT, you gotta know how to use a for loop. So, what a for loop is it basically? Well, let's type out the word for on the screen. It gives us an initialization, a condition, an increment, and a statement, and some brackets here. Kind of like an if statement, only it's different than an if statement. So, we put in our initializations, and oh god, I can't say that word today. Initialization. So let's make actually we don't need really a double, we can just do an int. And we'll say initialization if it lets us, and it does. And we'll set that equal to 1. So his first year at MIT. Okay. Condition. Let's see here. Condition is if the initialization is less than or equal to 3. That's greater than, sorry. Less than or equal to 3. This could be wrong, actually. I only just did it. I only just wrote the code out. I kind of already forgot it. Increment. Initialization plus plus. I think we went over what that means. It just adds 1 every time. So, as long as the thing is less than or equal to 3, it's going to do whatever is in here. Yep. And every time we're done doing it, whatever's in here, we're going to add 1 to initialization. Let's rename that variable. I'll show you a secret. If you want to edit a variable all over the screen, like change the name just entirely, hit edit all in scope. And now look, editing all in scope. Yep, that looks good. So our new variable, editing all in scope, we're going to say if, we're making an if-else statement. If editing all in scope is less than 3, I hope that's right, is less than 3, then write nslog, I don't know how to use a for loop. Perfect. And so, as long as the year that he's at MIT is less than 3, because he's a junior now, third year, he doesn't know how to use a for loop, so he'll say, I don't know how to use a for loop. And now, nslog, and now if it's equal to 3 or greater than 3, he'll say nslog, I know how to use a for loop, I'm never going back. I really hope I didn't name this guy, because that would be mean. nslog, I don't know how to use, or I do know how to use a for loop, I'm never going back. Okay, so the way this will work is it'll say, well, we have a variable here, and it equals 1 right now, and as long as it is less than or equal to 3, we're going to do whatever is here in the if statement. And every time we're done doing whatever is in these brackets right here, we're going to add 1. So let's run it on the screen. Yep, there it is. I don't know how to use a for loop. I don't know how to use a for loop. And now I know how to use a for loop. I'm never going back. So hopefully now you know how to use a for loop. I had to include an if-else statement here in order to make this funny. Maybe I should do a simpler example. This is normally how you learn how to use a for loop. Just give me a second. This is how I learned to use a for loop. So we're initializing int. We'll just call it n. And that will equal 0. And then we'll say n is less than or equal to 10, semicolon, and then we'll say n plus plus. So now we can just say, oh god, I'm dumb. And what are you doing? nslog, and we can go %i. Jesus. What am I? Oh my god! And now we run it, and it should give us 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's where I learned how to use a for loop, or how I learned how to use a for loop. But you know, this whole oh god, what? Oh my god, oh Jesus, what are you doing, Adam? Oh. Hitting undo a bunch of times. That's a much funnier way to learn. But it's also a little more complicated because we're talking about if-else statements there also. But you guys already know how to do that, so not too bad. Not too shabby, gotta say. Alright, so that's it. This was a lot of fun for me. It's not every day that you get to taunt people. Well, it is if you do it right. But it's not every day. And this was fun. And the MIT student is not named, so it's great. It's great for everyone. Yeah, I feel kind of bad about this, but you guys need to know how to use a for loop. It's just, like, I've actually never used a for loop in my life, except for teaching it. But that's really, like, all you need to know. Like, if you're sitting somewhere in some class learning, I don't know, basket weaving, underwater basket weaving, well, you could use that. You know, you could, maybe underwater basket weaving isn't a serious enough example for this kind of ramble that I'm about to do. If you're sitting in physics class and you're going, oh my god, what am I ever going to use this for? Well, you're probably going to use it for something in your life. Well, maybe not all of you. Maybe not probably. But you could. You could go on and you could be some kind of engineer. You could write a physics textbook. You could become a physicist. You know, it's possible that you're going to use what you're learning in school, even if you already know what you want to do. You know, I sit in math class every day and you know, I go, why am I learning how to draw a slant asymptote? And I say, well, I really want to be an engineer because, you know, engineers, they make stuff and they build stuff and it's great and it's fun, and if you're hired by the right people and you're doing the right projects, you can be making the world a better place. That's what everyone needs to know. Everyone needs to know that, or everyone needs to have the idea in their mind that they can make the world a better place with what they're learning how to do. Probably. Probably. But most likely, anything you possibly learn, you can teach. And that makes the world a better place because you're teaching it to someone else. I never thought that I'd be teaching a for loop to anybody. And there are some subscribers on here who I don't know, who are genuine subscribers that want to learn how to make iPhone apps. And that's huge for me. It's huge because I feel like I'm making a difference and I'm helping. And yeah, that's what you use this for. You use it so you can make the world a better place. And if you can't figure out how to make the world a better place with what you're doing, teach it to someone. God, I don't know if this makes any sense. But yeah, I mean, education is probably something you should value the most. In fact, I think it is. If you're not educated, you can't figure anything out on your own. You can't. You just can't. You're not good. You're not capable of it. And it's sad that people go through life thinking they don't need to. They don't need to learn. Maybe you don't need to learn in school. Maybe you can watch tutorials made by some really weird teenager. But you can still learn, and you still should learn. You still need to learn somehow, some way, something. And hi, Faye. Hi. That's Jai. Hi. I mean, it's a big deal making a tutorial. Yeah, everything is great. You're on screen. All right. So yeah, basically, just learn. God, learn as much as you possibly can, because you never know when it's gonna help. You never know when you're gonna be able to help someone with it. I never knew why I was learning how to use a for loop when I was learning how to use a for loop, other than the fact that I thought that I would learn how to make iPhone apps with it. That's the reason I learned how to program, is so I can make iPhone apps, and I learned how to use a for loop here. But you know what? You can use a for loop in Java, you can use a for loop in C, C++, you name it. For loops are everywhere. Same with if-else statements, integers. God, a lot of it is not alone in Objective-C. Objective-C takes a lot from other places. And so that's not really where I wanted to go with it. But you learn so much, and I learned so much, and I never pictured myself making tutorials, but here I am making tutorials and helping people learn. Yeah, so if you're learning something, ask yourself, am I learning? Well, first of all, ask yourself why you're learning it. Second of all, answer that question with, I can make the world a better place. How? If you can't come up with a better answer, then I can teach it to someone later, then I think you know what you need to do. You need to teach it to someone later. I don't know if this makes any sense at this point. I'm not really I don't know. This has been 15 minutes, and we were at 8 with the for loop actual teaching in it. So hopefully you listened to all that. But yeah, okay. Just learn and teach, and you'll probably be really happy. Okay, bye.